can't handle the truth.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals.
You think that he's about to make an announcement about UFOs? Because President Obama was just on a podcast talking about how he believes in UFOs and hinting that he saw something when he was president.
Well, I said this in my podcast too. What's funny is we've kind of asked my father-in-law about this because we're like, well, what do you know? Because Miranda, we all want to know about the UFOs, or we all want to know what's going on. And he played a little coy with us. And so that, of course, led us to believe, Eric and I were like, oh my gosh, if he won't even like fully tell us, maybe there's more to it. And then I have just heard kind of around that, I think he's actually said, I think my father-in-law's actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, and I don't know when the right time is, he's going to break out and talk about, and it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak.
Le monde à la carte, Solène Rioux, nous allons prendre un peu d'altitude. Beaucoup d'altitude.
Passion.
Mais bien sûr. Pourquoi? Parce que Donald Trump annonce qu'il va déclassifier tous les documents sur les extraterrestres.
2h13 ce matin, heure française, vous dormiez sûrement, mais Donald Trump, lui, publiait ceci sur Truth Social. Je vais demander au ministère de la Guerre la publication et l'identification des dossiers gouvernementaux relatifs à la vie extraterrestre. Et quelques heures seulement auparavant, à bord d'Air Force One, il accuse Barack Obama.
Il a divulgué des informations classifiées, il n'est pas censé faire ça.
Donc les extraterrestres existent bel et bien?
Je ne sais pas s'ils existent ou non, je peux vous dire qu'il a divulgué des informations classifiées, il a fait une énorme erreur.
Si le président américain a son prédécesseur dans le viseur, c'est parce que ce week-end, Barack Obama a provoqué un énorme buzz en répondant à cette question. Monsieur Obama, est-ce que les extraterrestres existent?
Aliens real?
Les extraterrestres existent-ils vraiment?
Ils existent, mais je ne les ai jamais vus. Et ils ne sont pas détenus dans... Comment ça s'appelle déjà?
La zone 51.
La zone 51, oui. Il n'y a pas d'installation souterraine, à moins qu'il y ait une énorme conspiration et qu'il l'ait caché au président des États-Unis.
La zone 51, regardez, c'est juste ici, c'est cette base militaire ultra secrète dans le désert du Nevada, devenue le centre de théories du complot selon lesquelles le gouvernement américain y cacherait des extraterrestres. Alors Barack Obama a quand même très vite nuancé ses propos sur Instagram. Je n'ai vu aucune preuve pendant ma présidence des extraterrestres qui auraient pris contact avec nous, vraiment.
Bon, ça fait un buzz incroyable parce qu'aux États-Unis, il y a une vraie passion pour les aliens.
Les chiffres sont impressionnants. 56% des Américains croient en l'existence des extraterrestres et 47% pensent qu'ils ont déjà visité la Terre. En décembre 2024, d'étranges ovnis avaient provoqué beaucoup d'émoi dans l'État du New Jersey.
Ça fait peur. Vous avez des choses qui volent la nuit au-dessus de vous, dans une zone très peuplée. Ce que j'ai vu, c'est à peu près la taille d'un bus scolaire.
Mais c'est toujours inquiétant de voir ces ovnis mystérieux, et personne ne semble savoir ce que c'est.
À l'époque, Donald Trump, pas encore de retour au pouvoir, avait soufflé sur les braises. Comment le gouvernement peut ne pas être au courant? Les gens doivent savoir, et maintenant. Et justement, on évoquait les théories du complot. Figurez-vous que 73% des Américains sont persuadés que si le gouvernement avait la preuve de l'existence des extraterrestres, eh bien, il ne le dirait pas.
Oui, d'où la volonté de transparence américaine. Bon, ça ne date pas d'hier.
En 2023, en effet, le Pentagone a ouvert une cellule spécialisée dans le signalement d'objets volants non identifiés, avec un bilan, vous allez voir, plutôt rassurant.
Nous n'avons trouvé aucune preuve crédible d'activité extraterrestre, de technologies venues de l'extérieur de notre monde ou d'objets qui défieraient les lois de la physique. La plupart sont des ballons, des aéronefs sans pilote, des interférences liées à des radars, des phénomènes naturels ou d'autres choses.
Des enquêtes qui sont loin d'être nouvelles et remontent à l'après-Seconde Guerre mondiale.
L'intérêt de l'armée de l'air pour ce sujet est lié à notre obligation d'identifier et d'analyser tout objet dans les airs qui pourrait menacer les États-Unis.
Comme à l'époque de la Seconde Guerre mondiale, donc de la guerre froide, cet intérêt américain pour les ovnis est une manière aussi de surveiller les puissances rivales, les puissances étrangères en matière d'espionnage, à commencer par la Russie et la Chine. Rappelez-vous, en 2023, ces mystérieux ballons chinois dans le ciel américain.
The question is buzzing around a lot this week. Are we alone in the universe? So here's what President Obama said that got all of this back in the headlines. Watch.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
So he later said the chances that we have been visited by aliens is low. I saw no evidence during my presidency that they had made contact with us. He was, suggesting that he was joking and having some fun with the podcaster in that particular instance. Here's President Trump, though, when he got a question about what President Obama said on Air Force One from Peter Doocy. Watch.
Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So that got a lot of attention. Hours later, the president posting on Truth Social that he's directing the release of government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life and UFOs. He wants everything to come out that the government has on this. So with that, we bring in Republican Congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna. She is chair of the Oversight Committee Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. She has said that there is evidence of interdimensional beings that can operate through the time spaces that we currently have, which is obviously going to catch a lot of people's attention. Anna Paulina Luna, thank you very much, Congressman. It's good to have you with us today. So I want to go back to that. You told Joe Rogan in a podcast in August when you were discussing all of this that you have viewed evidence of interdimensional beings here on Earth and that they operate through the time spaces that we currently have. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, I think that a good example would be some of the photo visual evidence that we've seen directly in some of these classified briefings that will now be made public. One of the famously now, infamous videos that we showed in one of our hearings was actually a video that was dead dropped to Eric Burleson, who's a member of Congress, from within the Department of War, and it shows a UAP, an unidentified aerial phenomena, deflecting a Hellfire missile. This was taken off of ISR footage off the coast of, I believe it was Yemen. So long story short, there have been briefings that we've received as Congress that leads us to believe that, yes, there is definitely an advanced technology out there that's not created by mankind. And yes, of course, we've seen other evidence where it could potentially be UAPs, and then we later find out that there's drones. But there is a certain amount of evidence that we simply can't explain. Some of the physics that are defied in how these vehicles operate are very interesting to note. And we are not the only government that's, looked into this extensively. But I really do look at this from a lens of national security. And as you know, as we continue to evolve specifically on the front of AI and drone technology, we have to ensure that are these things, whatever they may be, are they potential adversarial weapons, advanced weapons, or not. And I think the whole aspect that the federal government can deny access to members of Congress, of which has happened not just to myself, but to other members of Congress as well, is not just alarming, but it's also something that cannot truly exist in a free and fair society. Government should not operate in secrecy. And so I look forward to the American people being able to determine their own conclusion after they've seen some of the evidence that we have seen. But most recently, Representative Gates actually came forward. He was on that initial CODAL with me and Representative Tim Burchett, where we were denied access. And he will tell you that if you've seen some of the stuff that we've seen, you will too become a believer.
So, I mean, it's fascinating. And, you know, so you're saying that the Air Force has covered up UAP sightings. So, you know, if there is potentially, is it because it's technology that we have that they don't want anyone to know that we have militarily? Or is it that it's a foreign actor who has some abilities in technology and things that spin in ways that we can't understand?
Based on our interviews that we've conducted, not just in person, but also to given some of the testimony that we've received, we do have reason to believe that this tech is not created by mankind. However, it is also possible that there are certain advanced weapons that the U.S. government may have that they're denying us access to. But here's the problem. When you have unelected bureaucrats denying access to members of government that are supposed to oversee and write the checks for that federal spending, and then we're also getting reports that there are people being threatened, whether it be physically, whether there have been, you know, interesting deaths associated with people that have been coming forward as whistleblowers, which has been brought up in some of the testimony that we've received, not just myself, but you saw recently there was a movie that came out, The Age of Disclosure, where this was also referenced now by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. This is one of the most bipartisan and bicameral things in Washington, D.C. And so we definitely are looking forward to sharing this and exploring this further with the American people.
Anna Paulina Luna, Congresswoman, thank you. It's fascinating. And I think we all want to know more about this. I think it's sort of tripped back into the universe, so to speak, with sort of an offhanded comment by President Obama that turned into something deeper. And now we may get some more disclosures.
Okay. Dr. Greer, you have said publicly that this is outside Seoul, South Korea. Is that accurate?
One of them. Now, remember, I have debriefed almost 800 whistleblowers who have had direct involvement with this. One of them was with the Pentagon for about 8 years as a very senior investigator and had baseline clearance across 18 black project, unacknowledged special access projects. He specifically knew of the one in the mountains outside Seoul, South Korea. It was so huge, they had to build a structure around it. And he was read into this in between 2002 and 2010.
Okay.
So it had been there for some time. Now, I also know there are others that have been brought down in other locations. And if they're over a certain size, they're very, very hard to move. Imagine if they're bigger than a football field. And you're not going to put that on a semi. So it becomes logistically impossible to move it. And then in the United States, we know where there are some others, such as near Fort Sill, Oklahoma. There's a smaller one. They built a SCIF, a facility around that one. We have its location. So I know that the congressman can speak, you know, to what he's limited, but because I'm a private citizen, I can discuss these.
Congressman, are you referring to the location in South Korea?
I can't be specific to that location. But there are wide reports. What I can say is that I've seen articles that have pointed to a specific building, and from what I've been told, that is not the facility.
These are entities that are here on this earth, that have been on this earth, that who knows how long, and that we, you know, we think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago. But they're here, and they're in these deep water areas. And that's why, I mean, like we say, we know more about the face of the moon than we do what's going on there. Now, we have a higher propensity of sightings around these 5 or 6, I believe, deep water areas. And so to me, it just, it creates a question there. And then when we have naval personnel telling me that we have these sightings and that there's these underwater craft they're chasing that are doing hundreds of miles an hour, and the best we've got is something that does maybe just a little under 40 miles an hour. So I got a lot of questions about that stuff, and
So what Grush has told me, this is what blew my mind, and what he said that happened with Trump. And I'll just tell you this, and just again, I don't know that. I want to preface this by saying, this is not what I believe. This is what I've been told. Okay, he said that the Nordic people or the Nordic aliens are like a few hundred years more advanced than we are, but they're not super advanced. They're not like, he said the Greys, whatever is sending the Greys is extremely advanced, like thousands and thousands of years more advanced than us, because it's doing all the anti-gravity stuff, all crazy, all this crazy stuff that's very highly advanced. And a lot of it is what he says with the Greys is psionic. So they basically don't have physical interfaces. They're using their mind, and that there's an interface that picks up thought, and then that and that's how they operate these vehicles, is out of psionic. But the Nordic people somewhat resemble humans, and they have been experimenting with crossbreeding with humans. And he says some of them, that there are aliens that are crossbreeds living in the world. And I asked him, I go, okay, do they know that they're a crossbreed, or do they, like, how would you know that they are a crossbreed? And he didn't have an answer for that. Like he didn't know if they knew what, but he said that the briefings he's had talked about them. And he said when Trump was briefed on this topic, because Trump finally had a briefing, and he was in the middle of impeachment, like he was in the middle of being impeached. So he's going through that. And then he had like this existential briefing that just kind of rocked his worldview. He joked in the briefing, whenever they said that there are these half-breeds, he joked that Adam Schiff was...
I know that you have essentially written a speech for the president to deliver if he decides to do this. I want to quote just the first line: "My fellow Americans and all citizens of Earth, it has come to our attention that extraterrestrial civilizations of great technological advancement have been visiting Earth for some time." Could you see President Trump being the first president to step to the podium and deliver a speech like that?
I do, and apparently his daughter-in-law believes so as well. And I think the reason for that is that there are so many pressures about this subject coming out in the next few months that delaying it much longer would not be proper. And I've advised in a briefing we did for the White House that they do not want to be behind the curve on this. They want to not have it come out through other countries or in some other way, asymmetrically, let's say, and they want to be ahead of this. So I think it looks like it is picking up steam. And of course, what actually gets decided by the president, I'm not privy to per se, not directly, but I do think this is coming on a fast track right now.
America, take a good look at your beloved candidates. They're nothing but hideous space reptiles. It's true. We are aliens. But what are you going to do about it? It's a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us.
He's right. This is a two-party system.
Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate.
Go ahead. Throw your vote away.
All hail President K.
I don't understand why we have to build a ray gun to aim at a planet I never even heard of.
Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.